Hey, it's Scott Schilling, and I am so honored to have John Shin with me. He's the executive producer of the Think and Grow Rich, the Legacy, the movie. He is the modern day author of Think and Grow Rich and one of the new books coming out very shortly. And he's the producer of the Think and Grow Rich, the Legacy World Tour, which I'm honored to be speaking on. John, thanks for joining me for a minute or two.
Absolutely. Absolutely fired up right now.
Well, that's what I want to just let everybody know. We're not going to take too much time, but where did this all come from? The idea that you wanted to do the movie and then the world tour?
Well, first of all, my team and I, we got the rights to make the movie back in 2014, 15. And the movie Think and Grow Rich came out to really reach out to a different audience, right? A different demographic of people who don't like to read books. And there are people, that don't like to read books. And so we wanted to make a theatrical movie. And this book, believe it or not, is only one of 5 books, other than the Bible, that actually sold more than 100 copies. And, there's other books, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, what is the other one? The Hobbit and the Twilight Saga. And those have all become a theatrical movie except for Think and Grow Rich. And so, there was no question that this incredible, timeless masterpiece had to come to a theatrical setting, and we did. And after that, I was asked to speak at different venues, and I was super honored. And it was a privilege to get in front of these people and to address, this audience. And so that's when my speaking started beginning last year in 2018. And I did over 200 talks last year. And after I did that talk, my very first talk, I actually had somebody who asked me, as you get off stage, like you, Scott, and when you do your talks, you get off stage and people always ask you for your autographs and your a selfie or, whatever,
Right.
A photo. And what an awesome thing to experience with everybody. And so I did that. And while I was doing that, a bunch of people asked me what the name of my book was. And so I went ahead and asked everybody for their emails, and I came home and told my wife, Arlene, that we needed to write a book. And what better book than a modern day version of Think and Grow Rich? And we wrote a book called How Rich Asians Think and Grow Rich, right? And that book, we sold thousands and thousands of copies in pre-sales last year. And then I told John Green of the executive director of the Napoleon Hill Foundation that, that I think I want to go to Asia and basically talk about the book. And he says, oh, this is going to be amazing. And so I talked to a few of my friends and told them that we're going to do this tour. And then everybody wanted to be a part of it. And it was so incredible, the family of speakers that had really embraced and supported the principles of Think and Grow Rich, the Napoleon Hill Foundation, and how everybody realized that Think and Grow Rich is and is still today, is still today, the foundation for everybody in this world of personal development and leadership development. And, and I say this respectfully to a lot of people whose events I spoke at last year, and I may not be called back to speak after this, but I was super honored to go and speak, and people were paying hundreds, and if not in many cases, thousands and tens of thousands of dollars. And I love their intentions for some people, and for others, not so much, but I was very concerned about the content, Scott, that people were delivering to the audience. And to me, it was just a lot of hype. And unfortunately, you cannot hype people to millions of dollars. And there was just a lot of rhetoric and a lot of what I would call pitch festing or pitch festivals, or it felt like I was at a live infomercial. And fortunately, I didn't have to pay because I was asked to be a speaker, but I was curious, like, what does somebody get for $7,000, or $10,000? And I stuck around and discovered that the content was not great at all. And so I felt like somebody needs to give this younger generation, 30s and under, and people in their 40s and 50s and 60s, and everybody needs relevant content that they can actually apply to their business and into their personal life, you know? And so where does it begin? And I realized there's a lot of courses and events that go on about teaching people how to sell, but, or go prospecting. But if the mind isn't there first, right, what you're thinking about and your intentions of why you're prospecting and why you're trying to do whatever you're doing or selling, it's not going to work. This is why so many people go and learn how to sell, which is what I call the lower level training. But the higher level training, which is figuring out what's going on in here and what's going on in here and how to fix that and how you fix your self-image and your self-worth and all that, is the principles of Think and Grow Rich and the foundation for everything. So I think first people need to come to Think and Grow Rich, a world tour, to listen to master coaches like yourself and other faculty members of Think and Grow Rich. And once they understand that, then I think they can go and start working on the other tangible things on how to sell and how to prospect. And this is why you teach so many people how to prospect and only a handful of people actually do it, or teach them how to sell and only a handful of them do it, because their thinking is different than the other people. So we need to adjust and tweak what's going on up here.
I totally agree. In fact, I've taught many of the principles of Think and Grow Rich for many years. And what was so fabulous, to give a little foundation very briefly, when Carnegie asked Napoleon Hill to go meet with the top 500 industrialists of her time, he was verifying and validating his wealth formula and how he really became successful, and found that out of these, the Firestones of the world and just the amazing people, that there were 13 key characteristics to success. Now, the coolest part is none of those were born into them. They were learned attributes. Now, what I find to be so exciting is if they could learn them, we can learn them. And that's exactly
right. That's right.
Think and Grow Rich Tour is going to be about, is sharing solid content to really help people understand. As an example, one of those principles, the value of a mastermind. When two or more minds come together, a third and greater mastermind is created. And I know that's really exciting. One of those exciting points for you. You love the whole mastermind concept.
Yes, absolutely. You know, and I think that once because I'm not the expert of everything, but we can get all the experts together in a room. And believe it or not, the faculty of speakers that we have coming to this event, many of them have said, oh, I know that person. I've heard of that person. But John, believe it or not, as a speaking in the speaking world or in different circuits, this will be the first time I'll be sharing the stage with those speakers. So what a great honor it is for me as well. So this is really the first time in probably 100 years we're getting all these speakers, global renowned speakers and experts and thought leaders and influencers together on a stage to help people grow. So this is exhilarating for me that I was able to get all these people in the same room at the same time.
Well, I'm honored to be one of those speakers and honored to be working with you on this. And it's just so much fun. Now, we're starting in Anaheim, May 3rd and 4th, and then we go on to Chicago and San Diego, 15 cities in the United States, another 3 internationally, all before the middle of November, correct?
That's correct. You're right. So,
And then where are we going to go from there? That's just this year.
Well, yeah, exactly. So we're going around the world, and you know, I had no idea what cities I wanted to go to. So first and foremost, Don Green had told me about the countries where most of the books actually sold. We do have some analytics, and so we're going to these countries where there are lots of Think and Grow Rich fans, lots of Napoleon Hill fans. And even this morning, I had somebody who reached out to me by email and said, I've heard about this world tour. I live in Singapore, and believe it or not, I run the Singapore Institute out here, and I would love to support a tour stop here in Singapore. And that was not one of the cities we were going to, but that's how this was developed. I mean, the first place I was going to go to was like a couple Asian countries, and then of course our brothers and sisters up above us, Canada, and now we're going to all these different places, and then we're going to stop in November and enjoy the time with our family during the holidays and Thanksgiving and Hanukkah and Christmas and so forth. And then we'll take that all the way through the second week of January. And then the third week of January, Oh my gosh. I mean, we're going to be going to London and South Africa, Germany, Sweden, Switzerland. We're going to, where else is there? Japan, Korea, Thailand, Singapore, and the list just continues to go on. Spain, and so it's a massive thing. We're going to 12 countries around the world.
Well, let's give I know you're really busy, and I know you got to bop off and do more of these and talk to more people. But what I want to do is give everybody the opportunity. The very best way to get the tickets, go to tgrworldtour.com. And John has been nice enough to give the speakers like myself special coupon codes so that we can offer you specials. If you use coupon code SSM, you'll save $200 on whatever ticket choice you make. Now, for a limited time in limited cities right now, there's also a 2-for-1 special, SSM 2 for FOR 1. So the number 2 FOR 1, SSM 2-for-1, and you can get 2-for-1 tickets and make this really. We're looking at just rocking the house and packing the house, right, John? I mean, we're looking.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
No, it's gonna.
Yeah, we're gonna have we're gonna have celebrities there. We're gonna have entertainment. I mean, we're gonna have a lot of fun, and we're gonna learn a lot at the same time.
Well, I think that's the greatest part. There's going to be a little infotainment here. You're right. We're gonna be sharing a lot of education, a lot of fun, and every time I know I get on the phone with you or we work together, and there's always something new and exciting that's been added to the tour, make it even better. How about one last piece of encouragement for everybody before we sign off?
Well, I'll tell you what, everybody. I want you to realize that every single one of you were born, you were wired for success, but you're programmed to fail. And I say that respectfully, that you're programmed to fail. I'm not sure how you developed that programming, what's going on up here, but I do know that every single one of you are a masterpiece. And when I say masterpiece, you are a piece of the master upstairs. And so you were wired for success, but programmed to fail. And we will bring out the best in you on this tour, so that you can achieve peak performance in your life, in all areas of your life. And when we say rich, it's not rich just financially, it's rich in all areas of your life. So I look forward to seeing and meeting every single one of you guys.
Thanks, John, for joining me here. Again, go take a look. TGR World Tour. Get your tickets. SSM is one coupon code, SSM 2-for-1 the other. Look forward to seeing you on the road. Again, May 3rd and 4th is right down the block, but man, we're going from city to city to city. So look forward to having everybody here. John, thanks for joining me. Truly appreciate you, man, and thanks for putting this all together.
Absolutely. Look forward to seeing you there on the tour, Scott.
Sounds great. Thanks. Bye-bye, all.